Are you thinking about getting into business with your friend or family member? Then this episode is exactly for you. Make sure you not only like, subscribe, comment below, but listen into exactly what Travis Smith has to share with you from Tribest. If you want financial freedom, time freedom, and want to leave a legacy for generations to come, you probably have heard real estate investing is the place to do that. How do you get started? What do you have to do? When's the right time? If you are looking for those answers, you've come to the right place. My name's Kyle Stanley, and this is Fearless Flipping. My mission is to help you learn this business and conquer real estate investing. Hey everyone, welcome into the show. This is Kyle Stanley with Fearless Flipping, and thank you for tuning in. I hope that you are all having a great week, and I hope that you got a chance to listen to Christy Major's episode earlier this week. Really great one, but now we're jumping in with Travis Smith. Before we do jump in, make sure you are liking, subscribing, commenting below. Share what you're learning on this show. We will definitely be commenting and mentioning you in the show if you do comment below about what value you are getting out of these episodes. So let's jump into it with Travis Smith, the founder of Tribest. One day, Travis was sitting around with some friends, thought, hey, what if we put some money aside for real estate and use it to be able to all buy real estate together? We could probably move a lot faster than moving one step at a time on our own. So that's where this idea of building a tribe together came. And what he's going to talk about is beyond real estate. For those of you that are sitting here thinking, hey, I've got a friend that I want to do real estate with or start a real estate investment business with, you want to make sure that you're following all these steps that Travis is about to give you so that you can know from a legal standpoint, from a documentation standpoint, all the way down to a strategy standpoint, what can you be doing just like Travis did when he first started his first tribe, and how you can follow what he's doing with Tribest and start your own tribe. So let's take it away with Travis Smith from Tribest. Coming in from Columbus, Ohio, we've got Travis Smith, CEO and founder of Tribest, on the call here. Thank you so much, Travis, for joining us.
Glad to be here, Kyle. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, you are definitely different than most of our other guests. So our audience is really in for a treat. And I think it's going to be something that if they can really wrap their minds around this, that they are going to be really excited to jump into. But before we get to that, we've got to know, what is your most interesting real estate investing story?
Let's get right into it. Let's see. My most interesting is a little bit of luck. And I think we all need that. But I'll get into a little bit of my story. But my brothers and I had pulled our funds together, and we were just real opportunistic in terms of investing in real estate. And I was playing basketball with this guy who was the director of a national home builder, one of those big national model home builders.
Okay.
And an opportunity came up, which I don't think exists anymore. It was also the time. It was just after the financial downturn and recession. And so there was this unique opportunities at those points. And this was one of them. He was the director of this home builder. And what this organization did is they sold their model home. It was part of their business model. They didn't build a model home and own it. The part of their business model was they didn't own anything.
Wow.
Right. And so they needed investors to buy it. And it just turned out to be the most fantastic story of being a landlord you could dream of.
Yeah, because you don't have tenants, right?
Right. And think about the tenant. The tenant is, fixing all the fixtures, putting the best finishings on. And it was just a fantastic thing. And
so someone did actually live in there?
Well, not for the first, I think it was about 9 months while they were building the rest of the homes in the neighborhood. That was literally their sales office.
Oh my gosh.
So anybody that was coming in, they wanted to kind of show off the home, and they made it, of course, as nice as possible. And the cash flow was, we really got spoiled, Kyle. I think our mortgage on that was $900. And they were paying us close to $2,500 a month.
Wow.
and paying all the utilities and everything else that went with it. And then once they sold, all the homes, they moved out, and then it was your house. And but it made it a pretty easy sale on the back end too. So it was a really slow flip of about uh, 10 months, 11 months or so.
That's awesome. Well, I talk Airbnb all the time on my show, and those numbers are very similar to Airbnb. So, yes, spoiled, but still very possible on a lot of different avenues, including short-term rentals. So, but we can get into that another time. So, Travis, we've got for our audience that doesn't know, you have a startup company called Tribest, and the story of this starting is one that I really like because it's a personal story of what you and some buddies did. But can you just kind of walk everyone through your story and how it has led to this evolution and creation of what we are calling Tribevest today?
Yeah, absolutely, Kyle. It started going back 12 years ago. It's hard to believe, but my brothers and I were spread all over the country. We were trying to live up to a commitment we had made to each other that we would get together on a regular basis. And this time we were getting together on a fishing trip, quite honestly, one that we couldn't afford. We were 25 to early 30s, and we all had good jobs. We weren't rich yet, that's for sure. And we kind of just had this feeling that, yeah, we had our good jobs. Some of us even owned our own homes, but we just kind of realized it was never going to be enough.
Mm.
And so we thought together we should be able to figure something out. And we always saw real estate as a way to hack wealth without having to give up our day jobs. And we had just read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And so our whole kind of mindset and perspective was flipped and fresh. And but we didn't have any real estate investment experience, but that was part of it. Like, we wanted to learn, like we wanted to build up a repertoire that people could never take away from us. But we kept running into the same problem: capital, right? To get started, you need money, lump sums of money we didn't have. So anyway, on the last night of this fishing trip, over a few beers, of course, we agreed to a monthly manageable contribution of $500 each. And that was a stretch, but it was manageable. And between the four of us, that was $2,000 a month, $24,000 a year. And one investment turned into another. We reinvest it, turned into another, turned into three, turned into five. And now we look back on it and we say, by forming and funding that tribe, that multi-membered LLC, we secured a future we could have never dreamed of.
Wow.
And it changed our lives, Kyle. I mean, it really did. I mean, we kind of pinch ourselves when we're, doing a new deal, and we say, how did we get here? And it all came back to that $5 a month that we agreed to.
It all goes back to the beers, right? So,
you bet. We're all good ideas start.
Funny, like, side story of that. I don't know how much truth there is to this, but I've heard that beer has GABA in it. If you're familiar with the ingredient GABA, which is supposed to like turn on the creative part of your brain. So that's why a lot of business meetings are held over a beer. That, again, I don't know how much truth is to that, but I've heard it a couple times. So
hey, it's something we already know.
Yeah.
But the fact that there's science behind it,
yeah,
it really validates it.
There you
That's
go.
Great.
There you go. So what I really want to point out here is that, especially in today's world where we are in such a hustle bustle, want to be a millionaire overnight, this is not the millionaire overnight scenario, but it's worked. And here you are a number of years later, not only basking in the glory of what you were able to accomplish and build up with these investments, but now you believe in it so much that you're teaching others. So, what I just would like for you to maybe, if you can, kind of put some some perspective on this for people that, that are listening and thinking, I'm going to get rich with real estate, and how you saw this evolve over time. And really, to me, that is the most important part about real estate, is you have to have that long-term mindset. So it sounded like you guys had that long-term mindset and you put this plan in place, and just kind of, I guess what I'm asking here is just, can you help our audience understand that side of it, that, this is not going to happen overnight?
Yeah, it's so important, because I think when you hear the success stories, it sounds like overnight, and it almost never is. And that was the case for us. And I think it's a big distinction between us and some other software solutions out there. Is we start with building a sustainable business, a vehicle. And the downside of that is it took time. Like it was a good, I think, 15 months before we had our first deal.
Yeah.
And that is unacceptable, I think, to a lot of people, especially in our society, where we want to go after it now. But it was methodical. It took time. But what we realized was, by committing to that monthly contribution, we secured that future in that moment. That's kind of hard to understand, but when we said we're going to do this every month for the next 4 years, was our initial agreement, we knew at the end of 12 months we were going to have $24,000. We knew at the end of year 2 we would have $48,000. So in a lot of ways it happened in a moment, but the truth was we didn't actually get a real estate deal done for about 15 months. And then, of course, when we reinvested the assets, and to this day, by the way, Kyle, we still are putting in $500 a month to our
great.
tribe.
That's great. So what have you seen has been the power of doing it as a tribe versus doing it on your own?
I don't think I would ever had the guts to do it on my own. I think I was looking, we were all looking for a community. Back then, it didn't exist. We didn't have podcasts like yours to listen to and kind of know that there was these other communities out there where people were trying to break in and learn. So we were kind of forced into, gosh, we better find some people in our immediate network that are interested, and we can fail together, we can learn together. And so the big benefit is that tribe. Hey, I don't know how to do this, but together we'll figure this out. And so that was a big part of it. Of course, shortening timelines. If I was going to do this on my own, it would have taken a really long time to do it. But by timesing, our capital contributions by 4, it accelerated our timeline. Decision-making process, again, getting back to that guts of, gosh, this seems like a good deal, but I don't know. It really is reassuring when you have 4 other people that are all in the same boat with you making that decision. And then you spread the risk, right? So instead of me owning one piece of property or doing one deal, we can own 5 together. And if one doesn't go great, we still have the other 4. So that's the true power of forming let's call it what it is. It's an investment business that you're forming with these people, these partners.
Absolutely. Well, and it would have taken you on your own, if you were doing $500 per month, it would have taken you 4 years to get to that $24,000 that you did in 1 year with you and 3 other buddies. Well, brothers, I should say. So, that right there, in terms of moving faster, that's awesome. So was there at any point, any talk about raising the money rather than it coming out of your own pocket?
Again, I think with considering the time, there was just less information out there about how to do that. And of course, we did end up doing a mortgage, but we had enough for the down payment.
Right.
But it didn't feel like an option to us, because who was going to give us money, because we didn't know what the heck we were doing yet. So now it was really like we were going to have to come up with this somehow on our own, or it probably wasn't going to happen.
Hey, Fearless Flipping community, we are taking a quick break from the podcast to talk about Airbnb. For those of you that don't know, I have built much of my residual income around Airbnb, despite a lot of other investors being really excited about long-term renters. I was not. I saw an opportunity with Airbnb to get to my goals faster, to get more cash flow, and to pay off my houses quicker too. So instead of being really happy like a lot of other investors are with $200 to $300 of cash flow every single month, I've turned my renters and rentals into over $1,000 on average of cash flow every single month. So if you want to learn more about Airbnb, my systems, where I pick my Airbnbs, how I communicate with guests. Maybe you've already got Airbnb as a business on the side right now, but you want to take it to the next level. I am absolutely here to help you. You can book a free consultation with me about Airbnb. Learn more by booking at fearlessflipping.com/consultation, and you get me for 30 minutes for free. That's right, 30 minutes absolutely free. And that's once again, fearlessflipping.com/consultation, and I'm looking forward to helping you conquer Airbnb investing. Where did that take you into deciding that you wanted to start this thing called Tribest and help other people do that?
Right. So I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, people started to notice. And they're like, wait a minute, I know you and your brothers. How the heck are you guys doing this? And we kind of had to think about it. And we said, you know what? It all came back to that day, and it was $500, this $500 start. And and then people said, oh my goodness, I have a tribe. We have shared goals and dreams. Can you help us form a tribe? And that was when kind of light bulb went on, and we said, wait a minute, I think there's a business out here. First of all, does this deserve to exist? Does this change lives? It's like, well, yeah, it did. And now we're starting to see that we weren't all that unique, that other people wanted to do really cool, big things together. And there was really no platform out there to do it. Now, can you do this? Of course. You could go out there and form your LLC, open up a business banking account. You would have a hard time kind of figuring out how to do automatic deposits into that bank account, but the burden definitely falls on at least one of those members to kind of go figure it all out.
Right.
And that's what we realized was the real value of Tribest is to be this neutral third party where you can go, you make it unemotional, you make it fun. You can actually do a tribe align survey where it's anonymous, but you say, hey, this is how much I could do, and this is the kind of deals I'd like to get into. And so you kind of work through all those things to make sure you're aligned first. And that was, Kyle, when we were asked, could we help people? We went back and said, gosh, what would we do differently? And of course, that list was long. But what we knew was, gosh, I wish we would have discussed some of these what ifs before they happened, before they became emotional. And that's a lot of this, what our platform does is helps with that kind of the tribe alignment before you end up going into business with each other.
Absolutely. So basically the people that are thinking about either going into business with each other, going into investments with each other, there's a lot of I went into business with a few friends a few years back, and there's so many things I wish I would have done differently. Because I just didn't know. I was 25 years old. I didn't know anything about legal documents and all that stuff. I just assumed, hey, we have a great idea. Let's just go start working. And there's so many different things that you need to have those I's dotted, those T's crossed again and again and again to cover each other. And so essentially, Travis, just for our viewers and listeners, that is really what Tribest is all about, right? It's helping to automate and to take the burden of that off of their plate, and you guys are essentially bringing that to the table. Is that right?
Yeah, it's first. That's first is creating a safe, fun place where people can come and discuss what are the rules up front. And some of those rules are awkward and uncomfortable. And why would you bring them up with friends? Well, Tribest makes it super easy to kind of say, yeah, this is what we should agree to now on this if this were to ever happen. And so that's a big part of it. And then it's also the automating of uh, setting up a savings account. It's the providing a transparent dashboard where everybody can see the balance and all the account activity. You can house all your documents. You can propose deals on there and have discussions and vote. So there's also that kind of useful tool side of this too. So it's making sure you're aligned, and then the process of setting up an LLC and a bank account, which is really, it's 100 different steps and over 30 hours to kind of do it right. And you can literally do that all in minutes with Tribest, because we've already, we have the relationship with an FDIC insured bank and LegalZoom and Legal Inc. on the back end, and they've configured it for this specific type of tribe. And so we make it easy, and then the transparent part of it, the trust, being all able to come in to see this dashboard is really powerful too.
That's awesome. Well, and I know you're going to share with our audience how they can access this. And I think you've even got a special offer right now going on that our audience can take advantage of. But let's just say that we've got someone listening here, they're ready to jump in, and they're going to use Tribest. And it sounds like all these things in the beginning are just a great way to be able to expedite the process and to save time, which in reality saves you and helps you earn more money as well. But what is it, moving forward, for, beyond that, those initial steps, that Tribest will be of value to people for as well?
All right. Thanks for that. Yes. So right now we've built a tool, right? It's a utility that people are using, and it's great. And we're the first and, only at the moment to do it. But what's next is, we're trying to flip, pardon the pun, how people go about this. And today it's so much about the deal. Like, usually you find the deal and then you scramble to figure out how to make it happen. And what we're trying to do is say, listen, build your tribe first and have capital ready. So when opportunity knocks, it's not a panic. It's let me assess this against this deal and the next deal that I know is going to be right around the corner. And so for us, it's more about building a business and a journey. And we're connecting our tribes with partners and services. So do you need a loan? Well, you should talk to our lending partner about that. And can we get it at a better rate and at a discount? You should talk to our insurance provider. Before you can close on your mortgage, you need insurance and things like that. Can we get that to you at a value and a discount? And so on and so on. All the way throughout their entire experience, we're going to be connecting them to services they need at a discount and value.
And the thing about this too, I want to make sure everyone understands that this is not just if you're looking to invest in real estate. This is any sort of business. Am I right?
Right. Yeah. It's funny because when you do build that business with your tribe, you do have capital now. It becomes very opportunistic. And so my brothers and I ended up dabbling in a few other things that have been really fun and fit our mission and our purpose. And a lot of our other tribes are doing it for all sorts of things. There's people buying whiskey barrels in Ireland together, and then once they've completed it, they're going to go tap it and kind of celebrate. So it starts with the tribe, and yes, buying and flipping and building wealth, buying real estate is awesome, and it's even more awesome when you're doing it together. So it's whatever you guys want to accomplish, or whatever we want to accomplish with together, and it could literally be anything.
So you mentioned one little case study there with some whiskey barrels. What are some other, I know you guys have been in beta testing for a lot of things here for probably a long time. What are some other either success stories or case studies that you can share of types of people that are jumping in to Tribest?
Yeah, I think one of my favorite stories is it's about a tribe called the Old Dogs, and we had one of our early customers came to us and said, "Hey, listen, there's this group of guys. We all met each other through our kids' preschool, and it
Okay.
was one of those deals where the kids started to hit it off, and then they started hanging out on the weekends, doing birthday parties together, and then the moms hit it off and the dads hit it off, and the dads, before they knew it, they were kind of hanging out playing fantasy football, going to Monday Night Football, watching Monday Night Football, playing cards, those types of things, until they kind of gave themselves this name, the Old Dogs. And and their one of their leaders or captains came and said, "Hey, can we use Tribest? I think if I introduce Tribest to these 16 buddies of mine, that we could get 4 or 5 of them, and we could start building capital." And in the end, when they proposed the idea of Tribest to the group, to the club, all 16 raised their hand.
Wow.
And they're doing $400 a month. That's 4,000, for almost $50,000 a year, and a group that had never, I don't think hardly any of them had invested in real estate outside of their home, and now they own a couple of multi-family apartments in their
Wow.
hometown.
That's awesome. That's so
It's
awesome.
just so cool to see those things happen. People that wouldn't have on their own now doing it together.
That's so
Just
great.
so cool.
Cool. Well, I know there's just going to be continued stories that build up for you guys in your efforts to reach your mission. But I would love if you can share with our audience how they can get started with either learning more or jumping right into Tribest.
You bet. Come to our website. It's Tribe, like Tribe, TRIBE, a tight knit group. Tribevest, VEST.com. Tribevest.com. And there's a chat feature on there. There's usually Matt or Sarah is on that. And if we're not, we'll respond to it. But you can say that you listened to Fearless Flipping, and that you would love to talk to me, Travis, and I would love to set up a call. So that's just an open invitation. And then you can get started. We are welcoming people into our early access program, and it's 3 months free. So it's $5 a month once you start building capital together. But we make that free for the first 3 months, and we're going to give our early access members $100 off their first LLC should they form one. So we're just excited about this community and being a part of it, and would love to share with you more.
Hey, that free for the first 3 months, and then you said $5 per month after that. That's nothing. I mean,
Right.
Yeah, jump in, guys. Get on the chat on tribevest.com. We will also put that into the show notes here on fearlessflipping.com. And then when it comes down to just messaging, they just put, "Hey, we heard you on Fearless Flipping." That's all they got to do.
That's it.
Perfect.
That's it. They'll find me. They'll find us.
All right. Awesome. Well, Travis, before we let you go, any last words that you would like to share with the audience?
Yeah, I think, people often ask me, what's the most important thing you've learned over this time in building an investment business? It's a real estate investment business. It always comes down to the start. It always comes down to doing it. And so take that first step, whatever it is, and put yourself out there and start learning. So start is my big piece of advice.
Taking action, letting that fear go to the wayside and just going for it. Thank you so much, Travis. You are helping our audience to conquer real estate investing and so much more. I appreciate it. All right. For the show notes, fearlessflipping.com/Travis Smith. And you can get everything you need to start your first tribe, all the documentation, the legal forms, that's all the boring stuff, but it is a necessity, especially if you're going into business with a friend or family member. Can't just go based off of trust. So make sure you're doing everything right there that Travis is helping you to accomplish with Tribevest. Go to fearlessflipping.com/Travis Smith. I hope this helped you to conquer real estate investing and conquer some of those areas that you weren't sure about going into this episode. We'll see you next time.